Okay, so we've looked at this very in a very interesting way. We've looked at innovation and technology, um, the gender biases that we've seen. And Mr. Kennedy, I would like to, speak with you about this. Are there things that stifle innovation? I mean, you started a school. I mean, I felt like COVID would have made you say this is not a good idea, not a good
Not a
time.
good time.
Or maybe the technology might have been expensive and you feel like this is not something I want to do. So what were the challenges for you starting this innovative app that your school does? And beyond that, what do you think are the things that stifle or constrain people from becoming innovative or using tech?
Okay, thank you for that. Well, I think the number one constraint, finance.
Mm.
Finance is a big one because, I mean, going to the app again, it's just easier. It's cheaper. It's easier for you to get a book
Mhm.
and a
Just write
pen
it down.
and just write. And it's so easy, because you are most likely just going to copy and paste the same thing for 10 children.
Yes.
It's not the ideal, but that's what some people do.
Yes.
Right? So you're looking at the money. I remember when we started then, I mean, the exchange rate was a thing. It's now a thing now. When we started, we looked at the cost. We had to run through I saw it and I loved it. And I knew it was going to be a cutting edge for our own school,
Yeah.
know. And we went through it. I looked at it. I weighed the options. If you're looking at the money, the truth is, if you're trying to be conservative, you stick to the book. Let's just write. Let's keep writing on paper.
Yeah.
But then the money. Then I weighed it that, okay, what are we looking at? Beyond nurturing children, one key thing that I see about running a school is I need to put parents' mind at rest. I know what it is like. For me, I mean, when I started in 2020, I started August 2020. I had a baby in November 2020.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Wow.
Started the school with a pregnancy and, and things like that. And at 2 weeks, she was already at the crash. When I say it, people say, oh, but you're there. I said, yeah, she was at the crash. I mean, a pediatrician, she was there. In the first week, I remember the day of her naming, they had to come and call me to say, it's time, the pastors are here. Then I stood up. I had my pump. In my office. Then I would express, and things like that. So imagine, okay, yeah, I had the opportunity to pop in to check up on her to say, how is she doing? And well, she was pretty much sleeping all through the day anyway. She was very nocturnal as new babies, right? But imagine you had to go back to work.
Exactly.
I see it as part of my calling. It's not, the children, they are primary clients, primary customers. We are there for them. But how about the parents, especially the mom? How is she going to function? I've left my 2-month-old baby, So by the time I weigh the options, yes. And well, we could pull through when we looked at the numbers. We could pull through. It's not like the numbers were there, but we knew we were going to add it up anyway. Parents were going to pay for it somehow.
Yes.
And they were all happy about it. So finance. Then another thing is the workforce. I mentioned it in, earlier on that whoever it is that had to handle that, I know at the point of recruitment, we had to speak to people to say, okay, what can you do? Are you on any social media platform? Because if you're on any social media platform, to a large extent, you'll be able to navigate through lots of trainings.
Yeah.
Time had to go. And because of this whole high staff turnover rates after you've trained somebody, those are some challenges that we had and we are still having. We've trained somebody, we put them through courses. They have to go through the courses on how to impute so you don't send the wrong details to another parent because it's child specific. You're sending videos, you're sending pictures. We've had an issue where a staff imputed the wrong meal. The child actually ate her meal, but imputed the wrong meal for another child. And it was a big issue.
Yeah.
It was a big issue.
Because why am I seeing beans?
Why am I seeing beans and plantain? My child had
rice
and stew. We had to start explaining. So even at the point, our recruitment process went beyond, okay, what do you have in education or what do you have in early years? How tech savvy are you? How can you operate this? So that was a big challenge. Even some people that ordinarily we would have loved to recruit.
Yeah.
We couldn't because it's going to take us so much time to have to train them, to put them
That's
part.
part of
So
it.
the finance, the having to recruitment process was a big deal, and I think also innovations are good, but with innovations you have to spend money, you have to spend resources, lots of resources.
I mean, this is very insightful, very detailed. Thank you so much, Mr. Konde. And then coming to you, who should I come to? You, because you're in tech. Now, what are the constraints that stifle innovation or technology use that you could actually identify? Maybe, I mean, obviously you're tech, so it didn't stifle you. But what what are the things you've identified that could have stopped another organization or a small business or someone who is watching that is looking to use technology?
Okay, I would say fear. Fear
Wow.
of acceptance, acceptability.
Mm.
And sometimes before you set out, you're wondering would whatever it is I'm innovating, will it be accepted? And then that can stifle you and not make you make the first move or make the move. So fear of acceptance.
Yeah.
And then what can we do to improve this? I would say that regardless of what it is, just
Try.
do it. Just do it. Just do it. You don't know. It can go either way.
No way.
It can work. It might not.
Yeah.
At least make that move.
Okay.
It's always an opportunity to learn. At least you know one way not to do something when you try it.
Exactly. Thank you very much, the CFO. I already know that it's going to be. You already mentioned that it was challenging and all of that. What are the other things I think that to stifle for an organization? Looking at it from an organization perspective, you mentioned a lot of things you have imputed in your organization to make it easy for you to do your job. What do you think could have stopped other organizations from being this innovative or adopting technology?
I think I'll still bring it back to my current organization, which is FinLab. And I think sometimes you mentioned the fear of acceptance. It's actually, so I want to sort of touch on the other side of that one, which is basically people actually accepting it.
Yeah.
So you overcome the fear of people accepting it, you go ahead and you propose it to them, and people just don't want to because we're human beings. We like stability. Like we you get to work with. We're used to exactly.
Let's use this paper that we can see.
However, you're now telling someone, forget that, this is better. It's going to take a while. And sometimes we sort of underestimate how long that can take for someone to get used to this new way of doing things. And I think that's sometimes, the challenge with new technology or with innovation, that it takes a while for the people you're trying to get on board to actually see the benefit. And sometimes because of maybe the fear on their own side, they don't embrace it as quickly. And then you find yourself having to become, a preacher and having to an evangelist literally, and going from table to table. Look, let me let me sit with you and walk you through it. It's not as bad as you think it is.
Or maybe they'll be thinking it's an escape route for you to have a little more time on your side, not knowing that.
Or maybe they even think it's a way for you to sort of spy on them. I can imagine for your app now, teachers will probably think, is it because you want to be checking my every little move, everything I'm doing? And it's really just having to take the time to sell the benefits and make the person see how it helps them do their job better.
Exactly.
And brings transparency and also helps the business move forward as well. So that for me is one of my biggest challenges.
That's great. Do you have a final note?
Yes, I guess sometimes the technology or the innovation in itself sometimes is the barrier to using technology or the innovation, because sometimes they can be quite difficult to use, complicated in terms of the structure, the instructions, and so it really sometimes makes people deterred from using them. Because I was on an app, called Discord, and I discorded myself out of the place. It was so hard to use. But I've been told that, if I just, let my restlessness calm down a bit, I understand this. But sometimes, yes, the technology needs to be a bit more simplified, interface more friendly, so that people can adopt it more readily.
Oh, that's fantastic. So I hear you. Fear, the finance, which is a huge issue, adoption and ease of use. That's fantastic. And I also think availability of maybe resource people to help. You're in tech space. Is this accessible for SMEs? People want to start. Do they have access to tech? In the first place, do they even know what to use? You know about the Discord that you discorded yourself out. I don't even know about the Discord.
Really? It's huge.
Yeah. So it's something I'll check out, obviously. So thank you very much. It's been a very interesting episode.